But the angel said to them, "Do not be afraid. I bring you good news that will cause great joy for all the people. Today in the town of David a Savior has been born to you. He is the Messiah, the Lord. Do not be afraid." These are the first words that were spoken by the angel of the Lord to the shepherds. Imagine how frightening the shepherds' experience would have been. They had been sitting in the dark night, perhaps only the light of a flickering fire, when suddenly an angel appears and the sky lit up around them. It is with good reason the first words are, "Do not be afraid." The time of Jesus' birth was a dark and dismal period in Israel's history. The promised land was occupied by the Romans. The voice of the Lord had not been heard for 400 years. The Jewish faith had been reduced to mere formalism and rule-keeping. Within this setting, Israel needed to hear a message of joy, a message of hope, a message of anticipation. Israel needed to hear the message of a Savior born in Bethlehem. Bethlehem, the city of David. Bethlehem, while you were small among the clans of Judah, out of you will come a Savior, one who will shepherd his people Israel. The angel was a messenger sent from the Lord to tell his chosen nation the good news of great joy. For that very day in the city of David, this promise had been fulfilled. It is indeed a reason for joy. And this message is delivered to a group of shepherds in the fields outside of the town. But why shepherds? Bethlehem was full of people. There was no room in the inn. Everyone had come from their homes to their ancestral villages to be counted in the census. Surely there were others more worthy or better placed in society who have gotten the message. I think God chose to reveal this wonderful news to a little group of simple shepherds on a Judean hillside because they would respond. They believed the prophecies of old and demonstrated steadfastness by faithfully tending their flock of sheep. They chose joy. They believed the angel. So the shepherds decided to go to Bethlehem and see, just as the angel told them. They are testament to the fact that this baby was real and not some fairy tale dreamt up about a prince with some magical power. A simple birth, ordinary people. And when they saw, they spread the word about the child as they returned glorifying and praising God for all they had heard and seen. The message they received is the message they spread. The baby is born to you, not to Mary, not to a couple in Bethlehem, but to you. It was personal. The angel told the shepherds the good news was for them. The joy was for them. The Messiah was for them. The Savior would bring them joy. This message is for all of us. It was good news that would benefit Jew and Gentile alike, for the baby born that night was the Messiah of Israel and Savior of the world. The angel's proclamation is not that we could have happiness, but rather that the birth of the Savior will bring great joy. As we enter this third week of Advent, we also turn our attention to joy, our anticipation building as we look forward to the celebration of the Nativity. But what is joy? Joy is choosing to respond with inner contentment and satisfaction regardless of external events. It transcends happiness because it's not our emotional response to an agreeable situation. We can choose joy because we know that God will use these experiences to accomplish His work in and through our lives. While we can be happy one moment, then unhappy the next, joy is constant. It's important for us to understand that only God Himself can give us the ability to respond to life's difficult circumstances with that inner contentment and satisfaction. Or to say it with fewer words, God is the source of this joy that never runs dry, no matter what happens. Spiritual joy comes not only from favorable circumstances, but paradoxically, joy also occurs when circumstances are the most difficult. Remember, joy is not dependent on happenings. It is the deep down sense of well-being that abides in the heart of the person who knows all is well between himself and the Lord. This good news delivered on the hillside outside of Bethlehem indeed is a cause for great joy for all the people. It is through the eventual crucifixion and resurrection of this baby in the manger that you can move beyond hoping that maybe your work is good enough for God to approve of you. You can instead come to a relationship with God, knowing that all is in His hands and you are accepted. This is the reason for joy. Therein is a paradox. While God offers us good news, the joy is free to anyone, but so many of us won't take it. Mankind is miserably content instead to plan out on their own and be tossed about on the emotional ups and downs of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. The gift of joy is right there, but we're afraid to take it. We fear what it would mean to step into that good news. No wonder the angel says, "Don't be afraid." It is not just a reassurance to the shepherds that they are safe, but that we today should not fear to accept this good news. We should not fear to seek the joy that comes from knowing that the Messiah has been born. I can hardly comprehend the enormity of that simple, amazing message, given not just to these shepherds, but also given to me, given to you, given to all mankind, a message that rings across the ages. Do not be afraid. I bring you good news that will cause great joy for all the people.